So guys, what you're seeing here is a brand new facelifted Kia Sorento. And apart from having this sharper and more elegant look, what you're also getting here with the brand new Kia Sorento is also a new hybrid powertrain. By the way, unlike in the Hyundai Santa Fe, where this car is sharing a lot of fundamentals with, all three variants of this mid-size SUV actually comes with that hybrid powertrain. But before we get to the driving part of the brand new Kia Sorento Hybrid, let's talk about first the way the car looks. So for this facelift, what you're gonna be seeing are these nice LED DRLs, or rather daytime running lights, which now has this star map pattern, which looks really nice, really interesting, and yeah, it looks really distinct compared to, a lot of SUVs on the road. You also have a much more vertical grille at the front of the Kia Sorento. And then as we move towards the side, you're gonna see these new 19-inch wheels along with this garnish here sa kanang front fenders, though this is not a functional air vent, this is just really for stylistic purposes. And you're gonna see here as well the sleek side profile of the Kia Sorento. Then like in the pre-facelift version, you have here this sort of kink here sa kanang silver trim piece, which again still looks interesting in 2025. And yeah, the Kia Sorento basically is a very sleek crossover SUV. Then you have here at the rear end, or rather the rear part of the Kia Sorento, a new set of LED taillights, which comes with a new LED graphic na once again is mimicking sort of the star map LED lighting at the front of the Kia Sorento. So with that in mind, let's talk about the interior of the brand new Kia Sorento Hybrid. So as you move inside here, the brand new Kia Sorento, what dominates you immediately are these pair of 12.3-inch screens. So the overall dash design is largely similar pa rin from the pre-facelift version, but of course, that's been sort of redesigned in such a way to accommodate these large 12.3-inch screens. Now, before we go to the tech part, let's talk about first the interior itself. In terms of build quality, it's still pretty much the same pa rin as before, so there's plenty of soft touch materials here on the doors, here on the dash, and yun nga, you have here a lot of leather surfaces dotted around the cabin, though yun nga lang, my gripe still remains wherein the gloss black materials all around the interior are all weirdly enough talaga on the high touch surfaces. So for example, the window controls here and all over the center console, so expect that part of the cabin to have a lot of scratches eventually when you own this car in the months and years to come. Now, let's talk about the car's tech. So, with these two 12.3-inch screens, they're actually an upgrade over the previous system from the Kia Sorento, because dati, it used to have an 8-inch screen lang, an 8-inch infotainment system, along with the 12.3-inch gauge cluster. Now, this 12.3-inch main infotainment system is actually standard all across the Kia Sorento range, while the gauge cluster in the base variant naman is, though digital, hindi siya a full color screen, but rather a sort of dot matrix kung sabihin natin na digital gauge cluster. It still looks pretty nice though, because even the dot matrix screen blends really well with the minimalist interface of this new infotainment system. And yeah, speak of the infotainment system nga, it's the latest connected car navigation cockpit system, or the CCNC operating system. So in terms of the interface, it looks very nice, it's very minimalist. And as I've mentioned nga in my first impressions video of the Kia Carnival, this operating system actually got an award because because of its design. It really matches well with Kia's current aesthetic, and you even get your over-the-air updates. So yeah, even in the future down the line, you will still get features with the years that you're gonna be owning this car. Now, apart from the tech features here, apart from the screens that you're seeing, you also have here your smart toggles. So you still have physical controls, thankfully, but they're a blend of physical and touch capacitive, which in this case can switch between climate controls or your media controls. Then down the center console here, you're seeing your wireless charger, and then your controls for the heated and cooled seats, along with the rotary gear selector and your drive mode selector. Now, as for the rest of the interior, what you also get is a Bose sound system, and of course, this lovely large panoramic sunroof. Now, that's a good time for us to hop into the back seats of the Kia Sorento, which as you're gonna be seeing, like the previous Kia Sorento, napakaluwag pa rin ng kanyang rear seat space. So there's plenty of legroom here. And in fact, kaya ko pang mag-de-4 here sa likod ng Kia Sorento. Now, as for the width of the interior, it's actually a pretty wide interior, so you're gonna be able to fit 3 adults here in the back of the Kia Sorento nang hindi masyado nag-aagawan in terms of your shoulder room. And then, despite having a panoramic sunroof here, yung headroom is actually still pretty good, despite the mechanism for the shade ng sunroof eating somewhat into the headroom for the second row occupants. And then, as for amenities, what you're gonna be seeing here are these cup holders. You have cup holders sa iyong door panels, along with these grab handles. And then, you also have USB-C charge ports on the sides of the rear seats. And you can also control these rear seats here. Like, again, yun nga, in the previous Kia Sorento, may minor gripe pa rin with this feature is that they should have just used, I guess, the seat sensor for the front seats to prevent you from pressing the buttons here, because I can only imagine what kids are possibly gonna be doing with this feature kung may nakaupo sa harap at gusto nilang i-irita yung front passenger. Anyway, yun nga, you also have your climate zone, or rather your climate vents, rather, the rear of the console. Yun nga lang, unlike the Hyundai Santa Fe where it's been really doing well in terms of functionality, there's not much in terms of intelligent functionality features here at the interior of the Kia Sorento. It's still a practical place to be in, so you may not have, for example, the dual hinged console of the Kia Sorento, but yun nga, it's still practical enough here at the back of the Kia Sorento. And the third row space as well in the Kia Sorento is actually, let's just say it's on the small side. I am not gonna be sitting at the third row of the Kia Sorento because you've seen that naman in my review of the previous pre-facelift version, and it's still pretty much the same case pa rin naman yung kind of space there at the third row seats. You also have there your own climate controls, and you can also lower the second row seats from the back actually, which is actually pretty convenient because usually what you can only lower from the cargo area are the third row seats. That's a good time for us to talk about the cargo space of the Kia Sorento because it's still actually unchanged from the pre-facelift version despite being a hybrid standard na ngayon across all variants. So with that in mind, it's a good time for us to talk about the drivetrain and the driving experience of the brand new Kia Sorento. So as for the driving experience of the brand new Kia Sorento Hybrid, yun nga, unlike in the Hyundai Santa Fe where the hybrid powertrain is only reserved for the range-topping model, here in the Kia Sorento, it is actually the standard powertrain for all 3 variants. Now, as mentioned, what you get is a 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder along with an electric motor. The electric motor in this case is mounted within the transmission, thus making this drivetrain a parallel hybrid system. So unlike in the Honda and the Toyota systems na their series parallel hybrids, here in the Hyundai Motor Group's case, what they use instead is a parallel hybrid system. So ang advantage in terms of the driving experience is that the power delivery right off the bat feels very linear. Because what you get here, unlike in the Honda and the Toyota systems, is a traditional 6-speed automatic transmission, because yun nga in the Toyota and the Honda systems, what they use is their own versions of an ECVT. As a result, if you're gonna be planting your foot on the throttle, you actually do get gear shifts as a result. The power delivery is always very linear. Like, it's very normal. Like, as in, hindi siya kakaiba compared to a typical pure ICE or pure internal combustion engine car. So again, this is a very long straight road. I'm gonna plant my foot down. Yun nga, there are gear changes to anticipate and to feel with this car. So as a result, in terms of fuel economy, unlike in the Toyota and the Honda systems, where they're the best in city driving in terms of their fuel economy, itong parallel hybrid system ng Hyundai Motor Group naman, mas matipid naman siya out on the highway. So basically like your typical pure ICE car na yun nga, mas matipid sa highway compared to in the city. But nevertheless, based on real-world testing ng mga folks at Kia, yung kanyang city fuel consumption is hovering at around 13 kilometers per liter, 12 to 13 in fact. While out on the highway, this car can easily do 21 to 25 kilometers per liter. So yun nga, yun na parallel hybrid system, mas matipid naman siya on the highway as opposed to in the city. Ang maganda rin dito sa drivetrain niya is the fact na yes, it's a 1.6 liter turbo, 4-cylinder, so you expect a small displacement turbocharged engine to have a peaky power delivery, but actually, in reality, yung power delivery niya feels very linear, and that's actually kind of aided by the electric motors because when the boost is still trying to spool up, yung sumasunod nung parang throttle lag na yun is compensated basically by the electric motor. Therefore, as a result, if you're gonna be overtaking, if you're gonna be speeding up through basically a 2-lane provincial road, there's always instantaneous power response out of this 1.6 liter turbocharged hybrid drivetrain. Ang tanong nyo ngayon, I guess, is compared to the turbo diesel na at this point is already discontinued globally kasi yun na nga, the world is moving away from diesels in favor of hybrids, how does the Kia Sorento perform compared to the previous pre-facelift diesel? So totoo lang, I'm thinking that you're gonna miss the banat ng diesel because that diesel engine, the 2.2 diesel in the previous Kia Sorento, was actually very strong. Very strong yung kanyang power delivery. Here in the Kia Sorento Hybrid, hindi talaga diesel yung pakiramdam niya. Like, as in, it doesn't have the low-end punch, the low to mid-end punch of a diesel. I mean, it is responsive. So we're gonna be doing ngayon a 0 to 100 kph run. So it's a standstill ngayon. And then I'm gonna be mashing the throttle and put the car first pala in sport mode kasi kanina we've been driving in eco mode. So ngayon, sport mode. May response siya, may banat siya. It's already 100. Okay. So, yun nga, may banat siya, may response siya. But kung kasing strong ba niya yung hatak ng diesel, I don't think that's the case actually. But again, hindi naman siya hirap. Like, it's better than a 2.5, than a pure ICE na 2.5, but not as mighty powerful or as rich in torque as the 2.2 turbo diesel. To be fair, however, ito namang kanyang hybrid powertrain is still actually putting out very strong torque numbers. What you lose in torque though, what you lose in that bit amount of torque from the diesel and going here to this new, now standard hybrid drivetrain is much better refinement. So yun nga, as mentioned, when you're cruising in low speeds, when you're cruising in the city, nagapang ka lang naman sa EDSA for example, the Kia Sorento is a lot more refined because yun nga, it's gonna be biasing its powertrain to drive in pure electric mode. Yun nga lang, if I were being honest, though it is able to drive ka in pure electric mode, compared to, for example, the Toyota or Honda hybrid systems, wherein their electric motors are pretty strong, here in the Kia Sorento, it's really easy to provoke the gas engine while you're cruising, for example, in traffic. Talagang konting diin mo lang sa gas, it's already enough to bring the car's gas engine to life. So part of the refinement equation is, of course, the gas engine. So compared to the diesel, tahimik rin itong 1.6 liter turbo gas engine. Hindi ko masabi if it's quieter than the diesel because to its credit, I've always loved the Hyundai Motor Group diesels for being very refined and very quiet. Less rattly, guaranteed, oo, but quieter, hindi ko masabi. Pero of course, when you're cruising in pure electric mode, that's when the Kia Sorento really feels much more refined compared to the 2.2 diesel. Also part of the refinement equation dapat is of course the 6-speed automatic. Way better than the ECVT that Toyota uses in their hybrid systems. Because yung sa Toyota kasi, kung mapapansin nyo sa mga reviews ko, onting prod mo lang ng throttle pedal niya to basically overtake or accelerate, it's really gonna have the gas engine singing at a constant RPM. Unlike here in the Kia Sorento Hybrid or basically in any Hyundai Motor Group hybrid with a 6-speed automatic transmission as a result of the parallel hybrid system. And so, let's talk about na ngayon the NVH aspect. In terms of NVH kasi, itong Kia Sorento, as I've said naman in my review of the pre-facelift Sorento, yun nga, it's quiet, maganda yung kanyang insulation from road and wind noise, and that's still pretty much the same case here in this hybrid version. And then one of my other gripes then last time with the previous Sorento was its very firm ride. Out on the highway, out at high speeds, the Sorento's ride is actually okay naman. It's actually pretty good. Pero when you're in the city, the ride can feel a bit harsh. Sa totoo lang, bordering talaga on matagtag yung ride quality niya, especially when the Kia Sorento is empty. Now though, to Kia's credit, the suspension's actually been improved. Hindi ko masabi how improved compared to the pre-facelift Sorento. Pero kasi, we took this car on a light off-roading trail around here ngayon in Evo City. And kung dun pa lang sa ganung light off-roading trail, maganda ang kanyang ride quality, what more pa when you take the car in, for example, C5, EDSA. I'm having high hopes na when I take this car for a full review na the ride quality here in the brand new facelifted Kia Sorento will be much better than before. Lastly, as for handling, yun nga, this is a monocoque crossover SUV using a car-based architecture. And so, in terms of handling, yun naman, it's secure, it's nice, it's more agile, of course, more sedan-like compared to your usual body-on-frame SUV. The steering has nice heft to it, hindi siya overly light compared to past Hyundai Kia vehicles. And so, if I fling this car ngayon to this corner, maganda yung steering feel niya, maganda yung precision niya. There's actually precision with the steering this time around. I wouldn't say it's as sporty as a Mazda CX-8 or to a certain degree the Mazda CX-9. Total naman yung presyo ng top-of-the-line na Kia Sorento that we're driving today ngayon is at the price point ng Mazda CX-9, mostly because the steering is not as rich in terms of feel. And though the suspension does have nice body control, hindi pa rin siya kasing flat, for example, or as tied down ng Mazda CX-9. But I guess from my first impressions here in these nice roads of Evo City, maganda yung balance in terms of handling and comfort nitong Kia Sorento. Not the most sporty, but reasonably sporty enough, competent enough to have a bit of a good time behind the wheel of the Kia Sorento when you're driving this car in twisty roads. Oh, and finally, before I forget pala, let us talk about the car's advanced driver assistance systems. Because nga here with the brand new Kia Sorento, what you also get here is a full suite of ADAS or advanced driver assistance systems as basically part of Kia's DriveWise advanced driver assistance suite. So, at least for this range-topping SX na variant, you get the entire full suite, such as adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keeping assist, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic alert, the safe exit warning as well, wherein you're gonna be warned by the car's blind spot warning if you're gonna be exiting the vehicle ng may paparating na kotse. And then of course you have that blind spot camera wherein an image appears on your digital gauges if you're gonna be, for example, changing lanes or you're gonna be turning right sa intersection and may kamoteng na sa blind spot mo, makikita mo with the camera. So there's that part as well. In the lower variants, I believe we don't have the spec sheet at the moment, but I believe in the lower variants, at least automatic braking, lane departure warning, lane following assist are at least standard in the lower variants. But if you want more advanced driver assistance features, that's gonna be reserved for the SX variants. But yun nga, we're gonna be pinning down in the comment section what other features we haven't mentioned in the video are also equipped in the brand new Kia Sorento. What we'll also pin down in the comment section below is the car's price tag. And that's because at the moment, Kia Philippines only give us an estimate. If you want to find out the final price of the Kia Sorento, you have to either attend the launch tomorrow at Glorieta in Makati or wait for the pricing to be revealed down at the comment section below tomorrow. Nevertheless, the brand new Kia Sorento is certain to make waves in the 3-row crossover SUV segment, mostly due to its standard hybrid drivetrain.